I'm going to tell you guys a story on how I lost $10,000 in this business and exactly what not to do, and hopefully you learn from my mistake. When I first expanded to Austin, Texas back last year in December, I reached out to a prospective building in Austin for 4 apartments. Online, I saw the pictures, I saw the building, I saw the address and location, everything looked great. Just the pictures themselves were stunning. Unfortunately, at this time, I did not have time to actually fly down to Austin, tour the building myself, and actually inspect the apartments, which is what I usually do. That right there is mistake number 1. Always, 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 no matter what deal you sign, what contract you sign, any building you sign for, make sure you always fly down, spend a day or two, tour the units, tour the building. I negotiated everything over the phone, everything signed online, hired all the furniture builders. Now it's time to actually get the units ready. Now, my first red flag was when my furniture builders told me they don't want to leave their cars parked overnight because they're worried someone might try to break in. Second, on top of that, we had about $1,000 in packages just go missing after being dropped off at the front door. So you already know at this point, the complex is very sketchy, the area is really sketchy, and it's definitely not the most safest. A couple days go by, the units are now fully ready, photographer comes in, takes pictures. As you guys know, with the majority of Airbnb listings, when you hire a great photographer, they can make your actual listing go from looking like a 4 all the way to a 10. So when the photographer sent me the final edited photos, the apartment itself looked really, really nice and it looked like it had nothing wrong with it. But now when the first guest decided to check in, here's where everything unravels. First guest that checked into the property, they reported numerous roaches, leaks from the ceilings, AC not working, gangsters outside, the craziest and craziest of all situations possible guests were complaining about. We had a lady wake up and said that as soon as she opened her eyes, there was a roach on her forehead. I gave everybody a full refund and removed everybody from all the units. I then called an exterminator, local pest person, different type of cleaning crew to make sure the units were then all ready to go. Because I put so much money into the furniture, I put so much money into the units, and I already signed a whole year lease, I did not want to break the lease, pay any fees, lose all the money on deposits and the moving costs all over again. So I decided, cost-wise, I'd rather just fix these issues. Literally within 2 weeks, none of that helped. As new guests were checking in, more roach issues, no ACs working, sometimes no heat's working, no hot water. Every single thing that could go wrong with this building was literally happening every single day. My final tipping point came when a group of guests left their groceries on top of the kitchen. They left for the entire day. They came back at nighttime and the entire ceiling collapsed over all their food, roaches everywhere, worms everywhere, the entire unit completely ruined. I had my team go take pictures of everything. I sent all the pictures to the landlord and I told him, I'm exiting this lease, you can keep my security deposits, I'm not paying a single dollar in exiting these leases and moving all my stuff out. If you have a problem with it, see me in court. And I told him, if you want to go that route, I can call building inspection the very next day and you'll be hit with fines for code violations 20 times the amount. The landlord understood that his building needed a lot of work. We left amicably. We had no issues. We exited the leases, took all that furniture, moved it away, threw most of it in the garbage. In total, it was about a 45-day period where all this money was wasted, money was burned, almost $10,000 in security deposits, first month's rent, furniture being thrown away, moving costs. $10,000 was literally burned out of my pocket. Never, 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 ever sign a deal without actually going to the building itself, because pictures are very deceptive. The landlords, property managers, they will tell you what they want to tell you just to get the contract signed. You have to physically go in person, fly out to that city, meet everyone, shake hands with every single person yourself, tour the buildings, tour the apartments to make sure it's up to your standards. And now to this day, that's really my only job. I don't work within the business day-to-day operations anymore. I only fly out to cities, meet landlords, meet developers, shake hands, make sure everything's up to my standard, and then continue working on the business. That's pretty much the extent of my day-to-day involvements with the company. If it wasn't for the issues with the building, the location itself would have been perfect. I would have been making around $1,500 in net profit per unit, but because the building was in such rough shape, that simply wasn't possible. Almost everything in this business can be done entirely remotely, except this one last part, unless you have somebody you can trust on the ground who has the same level of expectations and quality standards for your apartments. I myself right now, I'm currently in Canada and furnishing 30 apartments in 3 different cities in the US right now without actually flying there, without actually being there. You don't need to live in the US, you don't need to be a US citizen, you don't need to actually be locally on the ground. The way I have the company set up, it's such a way where I literally do not have to be in the United States. I don't have to be in Canada. I can go live in Dubai. I can go live in Europe. I can be anywhere around the world. The company runs itself due to all the systems I have in place, all the softwares that are in place, all the automations in place, the teams that are in place to make sure the company is running the day-to-day operations smoothly without my involvement. And you can only learn that from the top G of Airbnb like me. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I really hope you enjoyed the video. Please follow my TikTok and Instagram, links right here below. And I want to make sure you guys follow me on YouTube as well. Lots more content coming. Stay tuned.